Hey, it's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
Hey, I'm so excited. We both are to catch up with Trace Embry of Shepherd's Hill Academy. And we talked to him, I don't know, it's been a number of months ago. And it's so good to have you back. Trace, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Good to be here.
Awesome.
You guys
You
are.
got that awesome setup there. You're ready for a radio broadcast or a podcast there. I mean, you've got the official sound stuff behind you and everything. Look at you.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow we're doing our own radio broadcast. Our broadcast is called Licensed to Parent. It's a nationally syndicated program. We're about I don't know, 300 or 400 stations across the nation. Tomorrow we have John Rosemond. He's got a new book out, and it's just it's the book I was supposed to. I told him, I said, I just wadded up my manuscript. I had a book in the hopper, and I read your book. I was like, oh, forget it. There's no point in reinventing the wheel here.
You wrote my book. Thank you very
much.
What is it that you look forward to when you do your show? It sounds like you have a good time. Of course, the content is pretty amazing. What is it that you look forward to?
I look forward to people with like minds, with the Spirit of God, with the Word of God, who can articulate God's perspective on raising kids in a world that doesn't give a rip about them anymore, because we are in the vast minority. We had it our way so long. Since the beginning of America, we've had it our way, but now we're starting to experience what parents in other countries around the globe have been experiencing Christian parents have been experiencing for 2,000 years. And we don't like it. We're not used to it. And right now we're not equipped for it. And we're trying to equip parents with that very thing.
Trace, for those who may not have watched our first interview with you, talk about what Shepherd's Hill Academy does, what you guys do out there.
Yeah, we are a Christ-centered, biblically based, probably a politically incorrect residential program for not probably, most definitely, a politically incorrect program for troubled teenagers. Kids come from all over the country, virtually every state, and we've had kids from 19 other countries who come to this little whistle stop called Martin, Georgia, and they live an unplugged digital life for an entire year, and they live in cabins that they build down in their campsites with no running water, no electricity. And every morning at 6:30, they're up doing their camp site inspections or cabin inspections and doing devotionals. And they come up in the morning, and school starts at 8 o'clock. We have a school here, just like any other school. There are computers in the school rooms, only used when absolutely necessary. At 3 o'clock, when the bell rings, it's back to partying like it's 1799 again. Getting it all done. But it's rebuilding those critical, constructive, and creative thinking capacities that have been lost, largely due to technology, because kids are like monkeys on a vine today. They don't turn loose of this pleasure till they got this one in their hands. And so they have pleasured themselves into imbecility, while a lot of parents are working themselves into imbecility with these gadgets, particularly smartphones. Kids are recreating and getting involved in things that they never should be even exposed to, much less engaged in over a childhood. And it's a lot of people will say, people smarter than me, we've already lost an entire generation to digital technology because it's rewired their brains that much.
Yeah.
I love how you just articulated what most parents have in their head and their heart. They just don't know how to say it or how to fix it. And then probably at that point, when they're at the end of their rope, then they find you.
Yeah. And it's hard to find us. I have every suspicion that Silicon Valley is trying to suppress our Google presence because they're probably listening to this conversation right now, and the algorithms are suppressing this type of dialogue. And whether people realize it or believe it or not, I know it sounds conspiratorial, but again, there are people with bigger platforms and much smarter than me who are sharing this information, and Google's doing a really good job of sending their what do you call those guys, lobbyists and whatnot, and then they're snuggling up to the politicians. It's all going their way, and we're seeing it happen right before we're some people say we've already lost that. We're losing our nation, and it's a sad state of affairs. And all we're doing is giving our kids what Paul Harvey used to say is the rest of the story, so that they can see truth as it really is from an objective perspective, and not just their subjective ideas about origin, where I come from, meaning, why am I here, morality, how should I live, and destiny, where am I going when I die. And the public school system has certainly brainwashed them with a passel of lies that have force them into believing some false premises. And if you believe a false premises, like you evolved from an amoeba or whatever, then or an animal, then you're going to act like an animal, and you're not going to hear any other perspective on things, because the fix is in. And I say that in the literal sense. The fix is in.
It's Trace Embry from Shepherd's Hill Academy. Now, Trace, what kind of exciting things you have coming up? You said you're working on a new girls area and trying to get vehicles unstuck from all the rain, but that's just part of the fun, right?
Yeah, well, if the rain will hold off, by the middle of October, we're projected to have our new girls site. We had to acquire 50 new acres to build a new girls site, because we fought an 18-year battle with the Georgia Department of Transportation, who put a 4-lane divided highway right through the middle of everything we worked for all those years to create. And so after a series of miracles, and I've documented all this in my new book coming out called The Miracles of Shepherd's Hill, we weren't supposed to survive that. Not an outdoor therapeutic program. A 4-lane highway just has a little bit of a negative effect on an outdoor therapeutic effect. Yeah. And so we've had to acquire like 7 different tracts of land over a period of, probably the last 5 years. Some of those weren't even for sale, and all connected to our original 60-acre tract. And it's just been an amazing thing. And this 50-acre tract is where we were putting our new girls' site, but the rain has slopped things up to the point where we're losing vehicles, down the steep hill to the stream that the girls' site is on. And it's been quite the challenge. But the devil doesn't like what's going on here, and he's going to put a monkey wrench in things anyway. And by the way, if you're not bothering the devil, he's probably not bothering you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trace Embry, Shepherd's Hill Academy. You've just mentioned the book now. Is it together and ready to go, or you still have a little bit of work to do on it? What's going on with that?
Well, it's together enough for the Mike Huckabee show to invite me on that platform here coming up, hopefully sooner than later. But probably in the next month or two, it'll be fully done, and I can pass you guys out a copy and others. And I'm going to tell people when it's out, look, here's the price of this book. If you can't afford it, I'll give it to you. This information just needs to get out. There is parenting information in there, but our story will be a tremendous encouragement for Christian parents, and anybody actually, to understand that this is sorry about that. To understand that God is real. He's still working miracles in the 21st century. And we've got just a 30-year odyssey of miracles that God's provided. And if you didn't read it, and if I didn't have it documented in witnesses that are still living today to substantiate it, you'd say, this guy's making this stuff up. It's not made up. It's all true. And that's the God we serve. And that's the God that runs Shepherd's Hill. I'm just the idiot that is in charge of things, pays the bills.
Is that what your business card says? Idiot in charge of this?
I'm God's butler, I try to be.
At least with this book, this isn't a book that somebody else could write, and you have to tear up the manuscript and say, "Well, that's so
exactly." No, this is our story, but there are so many parenting insights, life insights, insights of faith from our experience over 30 years. That when people see this, they're like, wait a minute, that's either a 67th book of the Bible, or this guy is full of beans, because it's really that. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. And I'm really I wasn't too thrilled to go through a lot of what God put us through in those 30 years, but it's kind of like being in the Army, or going through a really tough workout in the gym. Once you're done, it's like, and I'm not done. That's the problem. It's still going on. There's more chapters being written, and maybe another book. Maybe, I don't know. But once you're at the end of it, you finish it. It's like, wow, I'm glad I did that. I feel so much better, and now I can share with people, the benefits of going through these type of things. Because a lot of Christians don't know what it's like to suffer much anymore. For the 5, 3, and 4 is really the preeminent, arguably the preeminent scripture for all that. Suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. And I don't know if we talked about this the last time I was on, but hope, or lack of hope, is the number one reason why teen suicide is the second leading cause of death among teenagers today. They say they have no hope. And when you think of how ridiculous that is, when they live in arguably the richest nation on the planet, there's something terribly wrong.
Yeah.
And a lot of it comes right out of, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. My buddy John Roseman, he is a therapist, and he doesn't mince words. Modern secular psychology has done more to screw up our families, God's ecosystem, and this nation than about anything that anyone can think of.
Wow. Trace Embry, Shepherd's Hill Academy, and can't wait to get the book so we can talk about it. Trace, appreciate that you muscled through the suffering, and that you guys have built this thing that's touching so many lives. And we can't wait to hear from you again. You can go to the website, shepherdshillacademy.org. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.
Thanks, guys.